pact once broken, forged anew.
Did you want waffles?
Woo!
This blower doesn't
I'm
make
just
any
gonna
noise.
keep doing it, and it's good. Woo! I'm gonna make the noise for you. Woo! How woo!
Good morning,
Woo.
everybody. This is Warlocks and Waffles. It is our 20th episode. I'm sorry, our natural 20th episode.
It's the naturally fully
spectacular.
natural. Yes.
Extravaganza. Welcome to the show. It is good to be here. We are fully decked out in our party stuff. This is absolutely going to poke me in the eye at some point during the episode. But here we are.
I already blew out the candles, everybody. I'll post pictures of it online for everybody to see, but I do have like my waffles with ice cream and a donut.
If you're
there.
in the Discord, there's a picture
Yeah.
in the Discord already.
Already good, yeah.
Yeah.
We got mimosas. I'm on my third one. Hunter says he can't for medical reasons, but I say,
have a doctor's
Howard,
appointment this morning.
doctor's
I can't
appointment.
drive out to the doctor's appointment. They have to look me over, and I can't be 4 mimosas in, my guy.
Everybody,
I've got
controversial
water.
hot take. Controversial. Everybody's hotter when they're drunk. So if the doctor's gonna look you over, you might as well be hotter.
That is not the official opinion of Warlocks and Waffles or its subsidiaries. Hey,
That's fair. No, I want to own that one. That's a Junie Ruiz original.
is everyone is hotter when they're drunk?
I-
That's a hot
I said
take.
I said it.
Welcome to Warlocks and Waffles, everybody. We are, as I'm sure you can tell already, a TTRPG morning show. We are here to bring you all of that good nonsense in the morning when you need to wake up. I don't know how loud that is next to my mic, but like it can't be pleasant.
It sounds like you took like a little stack of paper and just like slapped it against something.
I mean, essentially.
Can I offer a second hot take?
I just
Since it's a natural
so
since-
badly want it to make noise.
I also wanted to get a noisemaker and failed. That's unfortunate.
They should make noise.
They should. It looks dope as hell, though. I'll tell you that.
I'm just gonna
Alright,
slowly keep adding more to.
I was gonna slowly add more hats throughout the episode. For the audio listener, you ain't getting that. That's something you only get if you tune in live. You get to see the nonsense we do as we go.
Speaking of hats, this one is like very large, and I don't know if I've ever mentioned this. There's a shelf right above my head here.
I didn't know that.
And so the top of the hat is taller than where the shelf is. So if I lean back, it gets knocked over. So I think I'm actually going to take this one off. So
That's adorable. That was cute. Listen, hey, I want to be selfish though. Can I take can I take a second hot take? Can I take a one more hot take?
Yeah, as long as this hot take is not a hey, get drunk, it makes you better hot take.
Oh, that's completely fair. You know, you know what's funny? I keep doing bits thinking in the context of y'all know, and then I realize that this is the internet, and because I'm like, the people listening that are I know that are in the chat they know what Junie doesn't drink.
Yeah.
So it's just like that's a funny bit.
Yeah, it's a funny bit in the grand scheme of like I've been out partying with Junie before and seen him like not be intoxicated at all for the entire night.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah.
And then just drop the hotter. Yeah. Anyway, are you a big texture person when it comes to food? Like certain things need to be crispy, certain things need to be soft, or are you just like I like the food no matter what?
I am a big texture person, but it is I like levels of texture. So I'm that person that is like, ooh, you know what would make this really good? A little bit of crunch and like something that is not super crunchy but has more like an interesting texture. And like that sort of stuff. Like if I'm having like a what's a good example? Like a baked potato. Having like the sour cream and the cheese and the bacon and the chives and like it's all different like textures and pops of flavor and color.
I can see that. Yeah.
My dad is a foodie. So I grew up in a like foodie household where like every meal we were encouraged to like really explore the different elements that we're playing with each other.
I sent you the podcast link, by the way, just now.
Oh, yeah.
We skipped the ASMR stuff that wasn't good for the podcast, but this is where things are gonna kick in because I'm gonna jump in with the hot take of mine that you probably already know this one because this one gets people.
I'm so terrified of what you're about to say.
Go ahead, talk real quick.
Talking real quick.
Okay, cool. Yeah. All right. If I have to pick crunchy or hard thing, like it's usually soft things, right? Like that's where if like I have to lean. But I like mixing things up.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of traditionally crispy, crunchy, harder foods, I don't care because I didn't grow up with that that standard. It sounds funny, like I'm not trying to be like ooh standards, but like it was like a lot of cafeteria food and just microwaving things. So some things like French fries being crispy, and if you just microwave them and then they're soft, I don't detect a problem with that, right? So they're
just different things for you.
Correct. So when I be like, oh, I microwaved some chicken nuggets, and everybody's like, oh, those are gonna be spongy or soft, and I was like, what do you like? It's still good. It's still chicken nuggets. Like, you know, I mean, I'm fine with that. I like the other things, but I don't care as much. It's not like that has to be like that. So I don't have a toaster.
Okay.
And I didn't have time to make waffles.
Oh no.
So
I absolutely despise where this is going.
But here's the problem though. Here's the problem, and this is the hot take part, right? I heated up some Eggos in a microwave.
You're a bad person.
Hold on. Right? And I didn't like rotate them enough or anything like that because I was in a rush. So some of them are still cold. Some of it is still cold, right? And then I put a donut. The donut, I'm not even a huge like sweets person, but this is just, it was for the picture. And then I put vanilla ice cream and a candle on it, right?
Yeah. If you haven't checked out the picture, it's on the Discord. Go check out the picture.
One of my hats just broke off.
Unfortunate. Now you just have the side one. It looks like you just have a high side pony.
That's fantastic. I love this. I'm like, ooh, this tastes nice. And everything's soft and cool. And it was hot enough to melt the ice cream. But I know that if somebody else were to eat this, they'd be like, these waffles are broken. These waffles are wrong. I'm like,
hey, these waffles are broken is also one of our number one reviews of the show.
Oh, that's good. But that's what I was like. It's just like, oh yeah, I like waffles of all types. And I'm like, yeah, but then I was like, oh no, people I think like them, you know, crispy, right? Like there's like a firmness to it.
The chat is chanting for you to be canceled.
I'm sorry, I like waffles in all their forms, and I accept them no matter what, and I don't just, you know, get rid of them if they're not to my hardness liking.
Davy Jones says your hot take is wrong.
Does that mean it's not a hot take, or I'm just
I mean,
evil
I
because
believe you said that you didn't microwave it long enough, and so it's a cold take.
that's
Here's
good.
the thing. Because you mentioned specifically, French fries being reheated and it being a problem.
Not even reheated, like frozen French fries, and then that's how you heat it up
mm-hmm.
in the microwave. You know what I mean?
The one that I see a lot is people who are like these French fries were really good at the restaurant I was at. Like put them in the to-go box, get home. If you try and reheat them, they don't reheat well. And like that's a whole thing. I can reheat French fries. And I will give this secret away for free on the internet right now.
Oh my god! Oh, this is what you get. This is what we get. Everybody,
what you do?
All successes.
You gotta microwave the French fries first. This seems like a bad idea, right? You gotta microwave them first, just so that they're warm. Because if you obviously you need to put them in the oven to get them to the point where they are like crispy, right? If you just microwave them, they're gonna be limp little noodles, and it's gonna be bad. You put them in the microwave just long enough so that they are warm, so that you don't have to put them in the oven for so long that they are going to burn or anything like that. Put them in the microwave so that they're warm. Then you take them, put them on if you have it, a pizza stone is the perfect thing for this.
That's very niche. Okay, yeah.
It is very niche. We got one for as a wedding gift, and it is probably my favorite wedding gift we received.
Oh, I
use it constantly for everything. But a pizza stone is perfect. If you don't have a pizza stone, just like a regular baking tray will be fine. You want to put a little bit of, if you're using a baking tray, you want to put a little bit of olive oil or something like that down on the pan. Put the French fries on there. Put it on broil on high in the oven so that it's just really intense heat that is just designed to crisp the outside of the fry. You now have an outside that is crispy and the inside is already warmed up and that soft French fry texture, but it reconstitutes itself a little bit because of the broil.
Now, I respect people like you that will go to such lengths to treat your mouth to that experience, right? But if you had to take a ballpark guess for how many more than 1 minute and 1 minute, how much longer than 1 minute what you just said was, how long do you think that whole process, because preheating of an oven is not a quick 5 minute thing sometimes, you know what I mean? It depends, so how long do you think that whole process would be for fries? Maybe there's other stuff too, but if what you described was for fries.
I mean, from beginning to end, because I have very low attention span. From beginning to end, maybe 5 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, because you the first thing you do is turn the oven on, put it on the broil, put it on high. Then you get the fries out of the fridge, dump them onto whatever plate or whatever. Put that into the microwave for 30 seconds or whatever. Well, those are in the microwave. You just put that little bit of olive oil on your pan. As soon as they're out of the microwave, you dump them onto the pan. Make sure they're kind of spread out so that they're not stacked on top of each other. You put it into the oven. And then you just leave it there until you see the outside of your fry is getting a little bit crispy, or the oil starts bubbling a little bit on the pan. And then you pull them out.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not a long process.
No, I guess I could see what you're saying, and I think that's
the reason for putting them in the microwave first, is you're not relying on the oven to fully reheat and cook them. You're getting them reheated in the microwave and then just crisping the outside.
Okay.
So anyway, This is a TTRPG morning show.
I was going to say it. Yeah, this is a TTRPG morning show.
Welcome to Warlocks and Waffles, where we talk about all our cooking tips. I could do a whole show on that. It would be garbage. No one should watch it. But it is a thing. Welcome to the show. Today's topic is natural 20s and natural 1s. Specifically, Specifically, we're talking about the mechanics behind them, both rules as written and how we run them, and then also like just the best moments that have occurred from those moments. Junie,
Yes.
do you use critical hits as they are written in the book?
More often than not,
Okay.
I do. And what I then do is I've 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 realized that I've done this enough where technically it has become like a homebrew thing in my mind now,
Mm-hmm.
where I think I described it when we did like critical fail or homebrew rules, where there's always an additional something.
Sure.
Um
Yep.
and it'll be something in the way of I don't like to always do where if there's always that extra deck of cards type of situation where it's like something gets chopped off or
Mm-hmm.
but I'm a really fan of like using the terrain and stuff like that. So sometimes it's an advantageous like, they trip, you knock them down,
Right.
you make it so they can't retaliate, you just make it so you're just in a better position to not get hurt as much. Maybe there'll be like a knocking of a weapon type of thing. Um, but it's usually the extra thing is in the how epic it is, like just how gnarly it goes on, and that I use that as a buffer for just in case the roll is not as crazy. Because if you
Right.
go as written, it is just double the die, and then if it's like, oh, it rolled ones, that is, not great. I like your way, because I think you do max damage, correct?
I do max damage plus you roll to see if you get anything like
Yeah.
additional on top of that. And I'm
My
actually in the
yeah.
process of reworking that a little bit. But yeah, it's I like just at the minimum a crit does max damage in my game.
That is fair, and I like that you still make them roll,
Mhm,
because the reason in my head I would not do max damage is because I'm like, oh, I don't want to deprive them the roll because not everybody can come up with the visual, right?
mhm,
And I like to give them that opportunity. So the one I think my personal favorite that I do sometimes, and I think I tried to shove it in there now is one of the damage dice is always max. So if it's like a
okay,
d8 plus whatever, one is always max, and then you roll.
right.
And if it's only a one, it's like, you still rolled technically, like what a regular max hit. And then I still kind of like do the flair, the embellishment
Mhm,
or something like that afterwards. But I'd say the one, if I ever do a deviation aside from like some sort of fun little, I never try to do anything where it's like, oh, Junie's just making up rules. It's like I try to make it make sense for the situation. Do at least the half max where it's
sure.
just one max die. Now, do you when you crit? I know this is changing, and I don't know if it went back and forth. Uh, do you do max damage when it's like sneak attack and smites and all
Yeah,
that?
if you roll in at 20, whatever you were like on an attack, whatever you were trying to do on that is max damage. So you want to like if you are a paladin and you just want to like you roll in at 20 and you're like I want to like really drive this home, you can smite on that and like that smite is max damage.
Holy crap!
If you're a wizard and you're throwing that spell and you like nat 20 on casting it, awesome, like max damage for it. Because what I found was having having the roll wasn't necessarily as fulfilling to my players
Yeah,
as just being able to be like, let's see. Well, I've got this, and I've got this, and I've got these things, and I've got this other stuff, and like being able to add that to it. And then depending on what you roll to confirm your nat 20s in my games, you get the an extra weapon die of damage, or you get a on top of it you get a what's it called, like a full thing of damage. So like I've seen a paladin crit use like a high level smite, roll their d20 again to see what they get another nat 20, and roll again and just get like an absurd amount of multipliers. And it's just like
My God.
from one hit they're gonna do like 100 points of damage, and it gives the ability to do those really crazy cool like cinematic moments where you're like, you rolled 100 points of damage in one round. This guy doesn't have 100 hit points, so you just like, it's that moment where the guy like swings the sword through and there's a slice of light, and then the guy's still standing there for a second, and then his body just splits in two and falls to the sides. Like, it gives you the ability to do those crazy cool things because they've rolled insanely well. I also have
so cool.
This is the deck of blunders and the deck of sunders from Gemhammer and Sons games, which close personal friends of the show, go check them out. They're very, very cool. But like the essentially anytime you roll a nat 20 or a nat 1, you can draw a card from the deck. And I have used these in games. I don't tend to use them in my my regular games. I use them a lot for like one shots and stuff. But
Are those designed for 5e?
I believe so, yeah.
Because previously the ones I'd seen were only like Pathfinder ones, so it was a lot of like shoot yourself in the tongue, like it was like that because they were very specific like spell type of things.
Oh yeah.
So it's like there were certain things that
no, these are 5e. So
well,
like you rolled a nat 20, you draw from the deck of sunders. Your attack rattles the enemy, leaving them confused. They have disadvantage on wisdom saving throws until the beginning of your next turn.
That's dope.
Like those are that's just like cool little things. Then you've got things like the deck of blunders, which is like, oh my goodness, you rolled a nat 1. This one is draw 3 cards and apply their effects. So then we're gonna draw 3. You strike a glass vial your enemy had hidden on themselves, releasing a potion that heals them for 1d12 plus 4 HP. You attack even though your enemy
so small. That'd be so funny.
You attack even though your enemy has secured the high ground, allowing them to make a free attack on you. And if you're making a ranged attack, it bounces off the ground and back at you, and you suffer all associated damage. Otherwise, draw a card. So like there's a lot of like little stuff like that in there, which I do like that a lot for one shots. I don't necessarily use them for my campaigns, just because for a campaign it means that I have to have like the decks out and drawing cards and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's just easier if it's like if we were doing in-person games, it'd be one thing, but yeah, I like those a lot. I'm a big fan of taking like natural 1s, natural 20s. They don't happen all that often, so when they do, I want them to be awesome.
I agree. It should be memorable. We're gonna focus on successes here, but just out of curiosity, when it's a natural 1, how do you I think the answer will probably be something along the lines of you tailor it to the group or the person. But do you have a general like not embarrass the person, but like, do you ham it up and go like it was bad? Do you let them do that? How do you like give the vibe of it failed really bad, or is it just,
so I have my table for like, hey, you rolled a nat 20, roll again to confirm it, see if you do anything crazy. I also have the same thing for nat 1s of you rolled a nat 1 on an attack, roll another d20, let's see if anything horrible happens. And so we do that, where it's like, in addition to the like the basics of stuff, you're also getting like potentially just bad things happening. So you can have I think I have on there, you deal damage to yourself, you accidentally deal damage to an ally, you and an ally both take damage, there is like some sort of something bad happens to your weapon, so either like it breaks or it like gets thrown out of your hands or something like that. Like there's a wide range of like stuff on there to sort of give it a little bit more flavor, and usually also results in like absurdity happening in the middle of the battle as well.
That's
um
I like that.
I
I like to soften it by usually still letting the player know that what they did was still epic. You
mhm,
know what I mean? Like in that, like, if it's a miss, like, oh, you hit a column and it
yeah,
shatters. Like
yeah,
you were, it was a good hit. You don't. It's not that you suck.
mhm,
It's just that in this instance, the worst possible thing can happen is they're that much better than you in
right.
this moment, type of
Yeah,
thing.
I love that. It's so good to be able to make those players feel like there is that excitement there and that they're
Yeah.
still doing cool stuff. It also I feel like helps with making sure that they don't get too discouraged if they're rolling really badly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. My goal with nat ones is always to like if they miss like a normal miss, absolutely I love that. But if you're a nat one, I want I want to make sure that like a nat one you did bad. Like it's not always the like that your skill was just not good. It's
Yeah.
just like either you weren't on your game or like they were really ready for the attack,
Correct.
or like your item malfunctioned. Like I had one player once who didn't have any ranged weapons on them, and they had fought these goblins, and so he had taken this like sort of wonky short bow off of one of the goblins after they killed him, and he took that and he had that with him, and then like they got into combat and he rolled a nat one and he goes to launch it. He rolls a nat one. I'm like, roll it again. Like let's see what happens. He rolled another nat one, and then like had him roll again and it rolled like a two. And so I had the bow, like he pulled it back and it was meant for goblins, and so when he pulls it back, he's just put way too much energy into pulling back that the bow, and the whole thing like shattered, and just like sent shrapnel all through him of like the bow just disintegrating in his hand. And like it was such a fun moment of like everybody being like, oh no, like this could go poorly.
Did you ever have like what I would deem as like an ultimate fail, where it was a pivotal moment, I gave the player like advantage on something and it was two nat ones,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and I was like, and I've been generous before, and I've been
Hmm.
like, does anybody do anything? I'll do a triple advantage.
Yeah.
Like, what do you like,
Is
literally
there,
anything?
is there
And it,
anything you guys have that you can
yeah,
use
because
to
this
do
is
this?
gonna
Yeah.
be bad news bears for you.
Hmm.
Like, no bueno here,
Yeah. What is your favorite like what is the favorite moment that you've ever had where a player crit like nat 20? Like do you have any that spring to mind as like this was such a clutch thing, and it was just incredible?
I I think I think I did. I hate, it's selfish, but I think I've done, when I think of natural 20, I'm pretty sure I did. If anything, this felt like a natural 20, but I'm pretty sure I got a natural 20 one time, and I did something that was so dope that in my mind it holds a standard. It's real stupid. Uh, but
Uh-huh.
it was, I was my Australian gnome barbarian,
Mhm.
and the DM was describing like a tower collapsing and there was like debris falling.
Sure.
So it was kind of like a little skill challenge of like, what do you guys do? And it was one of my first campaigns, and so the way I don't know if this is how it does it for everybody, but
Mhm.
like it was like, if it's a skill challenge, you cannot do the same skill somebody else had done in this round.
Sure.
And I was a barbarian, so I was like athletics, like that
Mhm.
was all I could do. And so I don't know if it was like the one time I can do athletics, so I got my one chance to do it, or it was I did flavored it as acrobatics. But what I was trying to do was just save like a mother and child from being crushed by a big chunk of debris.
Okay.
And I just remember there being this big honking horse there, and I was like, I need height. That's all I thought about is I needed height because I had my favorite item in the world. I had an immovable rod.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you don't want to just immovable rod right in front of a falling big piece of debris, right? Because that would just
Mm-hmm.
be bad. And he was clever. So what I did was I described it as like parkouring up and over the horse, and I think this was athletics because I like put everything I had into it. I was strong, and I was like, I want to get as much height as possible, and I want to put my immovable rod between my shield and like I want to put it behind my shield,
Okay.
but like I mean, like over my arm or something like that. So the point of contact is the shield. The larger
Mm-hmm.
surface area is the shield that hits the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure I critted on it. So what it looked like from everybody's perspective was um whether or not they saw me jump off the horse, like run and parkour off the horse, they saw me like Captain America hovering, stopping a giant chunk of debris from falling on a like a woman and child and
Mm-hmm.
staying there.
Right.
Like keeping it like almost like a Dragon Ball Z, like I'm fighting it away type of
Yeah.
thing. Um and it just had to result in me letting go and like leaving it suspended, kind of precariously perched on my shield.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, uh, I was just like, I had to do shenanigans to try to get it back without hurting anybody. I was like, oh, can I like tie a rope? Like the whole thing every
Yeah.
player does, where it's like,
Yeah.
can I tie a rope to this and hit the button and pull it back, like retrieve it? I'm a
Mm-hmm.
tinkerer, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
the actual going and suspending it and stopping it in midair, I think in my brain was just like, for me, it was that moment where I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever done in any game.
Mm-hmm.
And so what it does for me is I've probably seen more like clutch things, but I've internalized that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So now whenever someone gets a crit in a moment, I do my damnedest to like hammer into them how 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 awesome it is and how epic they are in that moment, to try to make sure other people feel that, you know what I mean? So that
Yeah.
way they from then on, that's their crit story.
Mm-hmm.
That's their moment of like, I felt real life butterflies because I had done XYZ thing.
Yeah.
And that's like, I feel bad because I'm not remembering all the other things.
Sure.
Because
Well,
I'm like, I know I've seen other
it's
things.
substantially easier to remember your own crits, right? Because those are the moments that are like important for you. Like my first ever D&D character, we had a like a long campaign that we played. Like we had probably been playing for like over 3 years at this point. And we had finally tracked down this person that we had been searching for that was like one of the big bads, who was, oh, what was his name? His name was Drak Urak. He was the demon prince of orcs. And so his mother was a demon, and his father was the like this powerful orcish warlord. And they had this union and had given birth to Drakurak.
It sounds so hot. I don't know why I should say that, but it just sounds like, I was like, were they like unnecessarily sexy? I don't know why that feels like a requirement here.
He was described as being an unnaturally large, unnaturally charismatic orc of like this huge skin, was slightly red, had this like unnatural beauty to him, but also in a way that you were just like, he will kill me. But we had
dangerously sexy.
Dangerously sexy, yeah. But we had been chasing this, like, going after other things, going after like all of his like guards and henchmen and stuff like that for a very long time. before we finally tracked down his lair. And it was one of the first times that I remember, like, all of my friends, we were talking before the game, and we're like, we need a plan going into this, and we need to have a plan that, like, we are strategizing it now, because when the GM is here, like, and my dad was the GM at the time, so, like, my dad is a cruel and unforgiving GM in the majority of the
You've
games.
described this a lot, and I'm just like, I want to experience this.
My
this
dad
level.
my dad is a, like, old school first edition D&D gamer, and so he is very used to the horrors that come along with that, and he made sure that we also got to experience them. But we went into this fight, and we're like, we need to have a plan, and we need to have a plan that is, like, our plan, that we're not letting him know ahead of time. And so we had developed this plan of, we knew that there was a room inside that had a trap in it, that would like, seal the room. And that's why we were here. The dude, it's been so long since I thought about this.
No, I got you. Yeah.
The one of my friend's characters, we had drawn from a deck of many things, and he had gotten the card that, like, takes your soul out of your body and puts it into an item. So there was this gem that, like, had Dracurak had it, and had the soul of our friend, and was, like, using it to lure us into a trap. And so we knew about the trap, and so we went into his like, lair, and we're going through, we get into this area, we see the room that we know that, like, okay, that's the gem that has our friend's soul in it. If we take that gem, it's gonna seal us into this room. So what we did was we went in, everyone got into, like, a really hidden position, and then we had somebody, like, take the gem, and our wizard used, like a field of invisibility or something, and then we all, like, crowded into this, like, little bubble of invisibility, so that when they would come, like, the doors sealed us into the room, and then they would come and find us, but as far as they could tell, there's nobody in the room anymore. And I think we even did I think we put, like, illusory runes on the floor that would look like we teleported away. Like, we had a bunch of, like, stuff in place that we were just like, okay, we do this. And I remember my dad being like, oh, okay, like, that's a lot. Let me think through that. And he rolls some dice, and then, like, all of the guards walk in, and then Dracurak walked in. And I remember that he was furious that we had, like, gotten the thing and gotten away, because he was certain that he had trapped us. And he walks in, and my friends and I are, like, looking around. We're, like, doing the math, like, do we think we can take him, or should we, like, stay hidden? And our wizard goes, this spell has a concentration of, like, 10 minutes. So at maximum, we can be hidden for 10 minutes. And we're like, how long have we been hidden in here? And my dad's like, about 7 minutes. And we're like, and so we're like, we should attack. So we're like, okay, we jump out and attack. And my character at the time had this magic item that he had, like, slowly created, that was we called it the Stick of Death, which was just a walking stick that I had attached, like, fangs and claws and all sorts of stuff.
I know of this
yeah.
stick.
And so it was this magic item, but one of the cool things about it was that anything that I had killed with it and attached a trophy of it to it, I now had double damage against that creature going forward. And so on this staff, we had killed a demon, and we had killed an orc. And so there were, like, orc tusks and demon horns attached to this thing. And so I jumped out, I rolled to attack, got a nat 20, rolled to confirm it because the like whole confirmation thing is originally my dad's system. I've just tinkered with it. So rolled to confirm it, got another nat 20, rolled a third time, got a 19. And so it was just an absurd amount of damage. And then I'm like,
Oh my god.
I have both like orcs and demons attached to this. Does that like
That does
does that
stacks.
quadruple, like does he take quadruple damage or is it just double? And my dad just sits there thinking about it for a second and he goes, I feel like it would do quadruple damage. And I was like, heck yeah, it does quadruple damage. And I rolled the damage and it was an absurd amount of damage, and then quadrupled. And I gave the total. I don't even remember what the total was anymore. But I gave him the total and my dad just looks down at his notes and then looks up and then looks back at his notes.
Did you like one-shot it?
I one-shot him.
Oh my god.
So he just hits the
Oh my
ground.
god.
And then like all the other guards were just like immediately running. And so the rest of the team is just like taking out all of these other guards as I'm like going over and chopping this guy's head off to take as a trophy. It was, oh my goodness. That moment
That's
is
nuts.
still like, I will never do something that cool in any of my other D&D games. Because that moment was such an incredible moment for me.
There's something that I realize that the feeling that we get when we do that can kind of be on the other side of the screen too, like as a DM. Do you have, maybe not a literal it was a nat 20 on a die, but do you have like a critical success moment that you feel you've gotten as a DM? Because I have one moment that I feel like this is the the most powerful DM thing I've ever done in my life.
Ooh.
And it was like, this is a critical DMing that I did one time. But do you have a moment where you were just like, this is, I'm in the same way where you remember a crit, whatever,
Yeah.
like this is the DM moment I'm going to remember throughout my entire, every game I ever run type of situation.
The moment that comes to mind for me is not necessarily like a critical moment, but one where I was like, really made sure that the players understood how cruel this person was. And like did something where like the party was shocked at that a character had done this to them. And like to the point where like I felt bad about it in the moment, but was like, this, it needs to be established that this character is like, this is a bad guy. Like this is somebody who will take any and all opportunities to take you out. But yeah, there have definitely tell your story. I just told stuff. So tell your story.
I just remember there was this
Before you do,
yeah.
this hat is really just not, it's getting cut off in the screen. So I'm just gonna
That's good. That's fantastic. Oh god. That's adorable. You need to take multiple series of pictures for that. My god.
Dude, I was standing in Dollar Tree last night and I was picking up a hat and I'm like, okay, well, we'll get the like regular party hats. And I was like, oh man, they have giant party hats. Like, let's do that. And then I'm like walking away and I see this tiny little stack and I'm like, what is, it's a tiny party hat. I was very excited.
That's fantastic. Holy crap. That's really good.
Sorry to throw you off. Go ahead.
No, it's good. What do you call it? I just remember I play games at like libraries with a lot of teens, and there was one group where they were all being chaos goblins. They all liked torturing Mert. They all liked just tormenting the old individual for no reason, because and they're all learning. They're all like testing me
right. Trying to find
mess
the
with me
boundaries
because it's funny. But also like, they like to know what they can and can't do. And it was like, can I throw this into the fireplace? And I'm like, I guess, sure. And they're just like doing whatever. it got to the point where, because they found messing with him to be so fun, it just became like, let's mess with him enough. And I was like, in my brain, I had made him so ludicrously wealthy that the next time that they encountered him, he had an anti-annoyance enchantment placed on him, where if someone with intention goes to annoy him, there is a field that they cannot approach.
That's
him.
so funny.
And it's almost like they just walk in place and they can't get closer.
Yeah, they can't get any closer.
Yeah, so it's literally like he's like, this was like ludicrous. He's like, I have paid several king's ransoms for this. Well worth it. But like,
that's so
and
good.
so like, I had already established that the group could not physically get close to Mert because they couldn't annoy him. And this was a situation where I was gonna have them play Mario Kart, right? Like I had all these little right, I had gotten a bunch of these Mario Kart carts, right? So what I was gonna do was I was gonna have them do a race against a rival of his, but I wanted the whole thing was not just win, embarrass the other drivers, like
got it,
crush them, right? And I wanted him to get a little dark with it, right? Not like, I'm not gonna tell young people to like kill people, but like, just embarrass them, right? So there was a moment where like they're all obviously trying to like mess with him and they can't, and then he's like I want you all to do whatever you got to do to that. And he's like, and then the one pyromaniac of the group that was like the reason I had to do this, like enchantment, because she was like the most notorious for like trying to mess with him and egg him on. She's like, oh, can I start a fire or something like that? The hats just keep breaking, so I'm just stacking them on the side of my head. I said he will go up to you and he'll walk right up to you and he'll put his hands on your shoulders very slowly, very gently, just like this, and he'll just look dead into your eyes and say, I want you to do whatever you have to do to win, whatever it is. And she was like, well, he walked right up to me, and I was like, and he put his hands gently on your shoulder like this and just said, and I saw that girl shake, because she was like, she was like, I'm chaotic and stuff like that. And she had already been trained. I can't approach him. So she had to find different ways. And now that she had him right in front of him, within like touching him, she didn't know what to do, both in and this was the moment she looked at her hands in real life and then looked at the group and said, I don't know what to do. She didn't know what to do. And it was a role-playing scene where the lines were blurred for her and she didn't know, like she was just completely lost in the situation. And she was like, and then I was like, and then he walks away. He's like, wait, can I still wait? No, and she's like, she was trying to recover and she didn't, and it happened so fast. She didn't know. That's my favorite one right there. But it was that moment of like, I gave somebody, if it wasn't like because of a natural 20 like success situation, there's a moment that they're going to remember that like shook them. And it's something so dumb, but I saw the look on her face where it startled her. Not like she was like intimidated or scared, but just like,
she wasn't expecting it.
Why are you getting that? What's happening? What's happening? And he's like, just do whatever you got to do. Go crazy. And she like, and just like, and I was like, that person is now going to be a fan of this game forever, because they're just going to be like, that moment was the coolest thing ever. And then Mario Kart is fun because you just like, the cubes are just spells you roll on a table for, and then you do like either double dash style or just give them all a cart. So that's Mario Kart.
That's fun. I love that.
But yeah, but it was a moment where like I know I gave someone chills, and I was like, that's the most that's the naturaliest of 20. That's the biggest 20 I'll ever hit. Where somebody's, I haven't made anybody cry. I think I've made people laugh and I've like shaken people and I was there. People go, whoa. I don't think I've made somebody like sob or anything, but I shook someone. And I was like, for me, that was my, this is the big one for me.
The one for me was the party was returning back to this place that they had been before. They're sort of on the run. They aren't fully aware of like why they're running. They're just sort of on the run from these people. And they are in the woods. They're camped. They have somebody on watch, and the person that's on watch hears out in the darkness like hoofbeats getting closer. And then hears the hoofbeats stop and like hushed conversation out in the woods, and then is like listening and hears like very quiet footsteps getting closer, but like can just faintly hear like armor sort of moving across itself. And so she wakes everybody else up, has everybody hide, and they see these people that have been hunting them, who are these like these paladins who are like heavily armored, like walk into the clearing, like communicating with hand signals. They spread out. They're like opening tents with like one hand already with the sword ready to like stab in if there's anybody there. Like they are ready to like,
Oh my god.
in attack formation, spreading out and like going to wipe them out if they find them. And then a couple of them rolled really bad on stealth, and so they got found. And so the other ones were like, okay, and we're in it. And they like jump into it. They start getting into combat. And this is all like spreading out in this area. And they're very quickly realizing that they are outmatched by these guys. And as they are getting like they are trying to like each take one off and like try and take them out, and they're getting annihilated because these guys are operating as like a focused attack unit. So they are focused
team, like yeah.
So they are focusing on one person at a time, and then like taking that person out because they all have like 2 to 3 attacks each. So they're like tag teaming one person, get that person down. One of them will drop off from the combat to like put chains on their hands and feet, and then everybody, like the rest of them, move to the other the next person in the team. And then once that person is chained up, that the guard that joined like was doing it moves to the next person. And so they're like slowly eliminating everybody. And it got down to where there was just one person left who was still fighting, and the captain of the guards was like, "There's no need for this combat. There's no need for further bloodshed. Lay down your weapons. Let us take you in, and your friends may still survive." And he's like screaming at him, like trying to be in the position of like, I get to make what the demands are, like you're gonna follow what I want. And he's like, you are not in a position of power here. I will just have my men continue to fight you. You may take 1 or 2 of them with you, but you will fall in the end. And so he like picks up one of the companions and just like that companion is already making death saves, like they are unconscious on the ground. He picks them up, he just holds a sword to them, and he's like, your friends mean nothing to me, but clearly they mean something to you, and I admire the spirit. So lay down your weapon, or they die. And finally he like kneels down, he lays down his weapon, he allows himself to be chained. And this guard goes, you have much spirit. I appreciate that. And I will enjoy breaking it. And he drags the friend that he had been holding over to the campfire that is still lit and just throws the body into it. And just like the character is just in there on fire, burning, like taking damage. And I saw it across all the players' faces as like, this motherfucker's gonna die. Like this is the person that we are going to kill. Like this person is dead to us.
This is the guy.
And like I already knew, like I had some stuff in place. So like the character that he threw in has some divine blood to them, and so they were they're what's called in my world there's a thing called the banished from death, which are these individuals that like death refuses to take. He will send them back. And so they had some divine blood to them where when they when they failed that last death save in the fire, and they're like taking damage and they're burning and stuff, this beam of light fell from the heavens and hit them, and all of a sudden they were just standing in the fire with these radiant wings coming off of them. And I changed the race of their character to be an Aasimar, and so they like then they were up and they were fighting, and I gave them like, okay, you're fully like for all intents and purposes, like you have all of your hit points back, you have all of your spell slot, like you are considered to have had a long rest. And she just starts like annihilating some of these guards who were like taken down. But that guard who like threw her into the fire just sort of like backs away and smiles, and he goes, "Yeah, I knew eventually one of you would show." And then he just grasps his amulet, and a doorway opens behind him. He steps through it and it closes, leaving his other guards there, and they got slaughtered. But then like as soon as she was out of sort of that battle moment, she just collapses with like a bunch of levels of exhaustion. She has no hit points.
Okay.
Like she's not okay. But it became this thing of like, well, who was that guy?
Who
like,
was that dude?
That guy needs to die. Like that was it's one of those moments of like, let's make this guy the bad guy. Like let's make it clear that this guy is not to be trifled with, and can't be trusted. That one was very very fun for me. Like anytime where I'm like, whew, okay, is everybody okay?
Yeah,
like
you have to
anytime
recover
I'm
yourself.
like, I need a moment to catch my breath. Or are all the players okay? Everybody doing okay? Awesome. Like this, let's kill this guy. And that's now
That's
going
powerful.
forward, it's a focal point of like, not only do the characters hate him, but the players hate him, and also I hate him a little bit.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's the best villain. You know, it's just like you hate him.
Yeah.
You want it's just like you need to hate this guy. You need them dead.
A close second would be in Hooligans. One of the players, Daniel, had a character named Roddy, who Roddy during character creation created a NPC for his backstory named Burt Poole, who was sort of like a security guard at the college that Roddy worked at and stuff. And we worked him into like the main story of, he was the person that Roddy was going to be using as like a lookout while Roddy was trying to steal this thing. And then like he stole the thing. They disappear into the sewers. Bert's like, "Come on, this way, let's go." And they're like running through the sewers. And they round a corner, and there's just a bunch of like guys with like bows and crossbows and daggers and masks and hoods. And Roddy's like, no, they found us. And Bert's just like, yeah, they. And he just sort of like walks over with them and turns around, and like Bert's in charge of this. And he's like, "Listen, Roddy, it's not personal. You know I like you, but it's just business. Like, we're gonna be taking that." And then like Roddy's trying to like fight it, and they like took Roddy out. But over the course of doing it, Roddy revealed that he had these like magical abilities. And there's these people that were like hunting down anybody with magical abilities. And so as Roddy is like knocking out, Bert's just like, "Are those guys still looking for the magic people?" And the other rogue's like, "Yeah, I think so. They're outside the gate." Like, "Tie him up, take him there." He like leans down. He's like, "It's not personal. It's just business." And then just like knocks him out. And then Roddy like woke up in the back of this wagon, like chained up, like being transported. And that's where we started the story, which was like such a fun way to start.
Yeah, no, it's good. That's I don't want to say like Skyrim-y, but you know what I mean?
It was very Skyrim-y, yeah. Like, "Hey, you're finally awake." It's very much in that same vein, yeah. I know we're kind of like at the end here. Do you have any good stories about a critical one? a natural one, a critical miss. Do you have any good stories about anything that has happened from that? Because I have one that I absolutely love.
There's so many fun ones. I'm trying to remember the double one, like the specifics on that one. But I I will say that the fun moments that happen in my campaigns are a lot of I do a lot of roles behind the scenes just for my sake. Oh, my hats all fell off. To just go like, okay, I'm curious, you know what I mean? I let everything change on a whim, and I have like a general outline, but I'm like, what would happen here? So I have people roll, like I have always things wrong, and there is a lot of critical failures when it comes to my NPCs.
Mm,
And it ends up feeling like a crit for my players.
right.
So what ends up happening is like a disguise that doesn't always look like it would work real well,
Sure.
or a persuasion, or like some sort of check that they're all like, all right, I got a 5, or like I got a
Mhm.
whatever. And I think it was definitely the craziest natural one. Was like, it was the big bad of the evening, like the big
Mhm.
fight that they had to do. And it was like it came down to like this check. um you know what? Yeah, it was like this. It was recently, it was I did a game, and it was like, was it 20 people? It was a huge group, right?
Oh, it's so many.
So what I did was I Mert, they all did bad for something recently. So
Mhm.
I had Matt and Mert do a training camp, right? And
Mhm.
so what I did was I divided them into groups. And
Okay.
then I have like the 1985 like dungeon craft, the mats, like all the
Mhm.
tile pieces. And I divided like the physical users. So I think it was like maybe it was like 14.
Mhm.
But it was like, so it was like 6 or 7 like physical big burly like paladins, barbarians,
Mhm.
fighters. And then it was like the rogues, the rangers, and everything else on the wizards on the other team. And what I did was for the rogues, wizards, the ones that had like range, it was there was like bridges and water. And what I did was I have a big old owl, like mini, that's for something else. But what I did was I said, okay, look, it's gonna be all of you, then it, right?
Mhm.
It's this to hit. If you hit, keep track of how much damage. If you get to 50, let me know. Right.
Okay.
And it was in the very beginning, I had them all put on gym clothes that make and bangles. And this is once again one of those magic items you make up on the spot,
Mhm.
where it was like they all had to put on these outfits whether they liked it or not. And then I had one of them shoot a special arrow at somebody else,
Mhm.
and it exploded somebody and did like 100 damage, and they're
Incredible.
all like level 4, right?
Yeah.
But then I had him like like rewind
Mhm.
and reform to signify you guys can't die right now,
Okay.
right? You all need to get better, and you're going to be training here for as long as it takes.
Mhm.
So it was like, this is going to be real intensive. Uh, but then it was like, well, whatever you're fighting might be able to do that too. So you might have to kill the thing you're about to train on more than once. So it
Sure.
was this owl, and it was owl flying. So like, I had it like when it was its turn, I would have it like blow air to like, try to shove them off into whirlpools, or pick them up and knock them into each other or whatever else.
Mhm.
And then I would go between groups. So I'd be like, I'd adjudicate like any sort of like if there's a dispute. Otherwise, they were kind of running themselves, and I was
Right.
bouncing back and forth. But it was last roll for like the wizards and the rogues and stuff. And apparently, they had been spending the entire round forming a Molotov cocktail. Like they had like, I was like, can we do a Molotov? And I was like, you don't have enough time to do it all. And he's like, no, but could like I get it and start it? And then they were kind of assembly lining it. And I
Right.
was like, oh yeah, no, you could do that. That's fine. If you just spend your turn
Uh-huh.
doing that, that's not a problem. Go for it. You're putting everything in have into it. So they did it, right? And I was kind of giving it like legendary action sometimes. And
Mhm.
because they were saying it in front of the thing the whole time, I was like,
Mhm.
this isn't a dumb bird. It hears you.
Mhm.
Um, so this was an almost unfair moment on my part. And in retrospect, I was like, that was a little messed up. But they were gonna throw it, and I was like, it's gonna try to flap its wings and launch it back at you.
Oh, that's
And
so
they were
good.
like, and they were just, but it was kind of like, yo, we spent all turn doing this.
Right.
You're gonna take this away from us, right?
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'll make it hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a difficult check.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna make it that it can easily just do this to you, but it's been watching you this whole time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And they
it's not
rolled.
dumb.
Yeah, they rolled enough to hit it, right? But I
Mhm.
was like, it's gonna try this, and it got a natural 1. It got a natural 1 to try to do this, and
Right.
I was like, it became like it flapped so hard it like launched feathers, and it was like, gonna like almost like projectile it away, but
Mhm.
all it did was like shatter the Molotov early or whatever,
Right, it just
and
like
send flaming
it
shrapnel
essentially
at itself.
collapse the Molotov.
Exactly,
And, yeah.
and it just made, they were all like, it was one of those, everybody stood up as if it was their natural 20.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like a bird trying to be like, I got you, I'm in charge here.
Nothing is more entertaining than the DM unable to do the cool thing the DM tried to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there. Last session in one of my groups, they like distracted some guards by like throwing acid splash on one of them and then hiding. And the guards that like, they were guards that were supposed to join the like larger fight. And then they were like just trying to find where this acid splash had come from. And so I just kept rolling. I was like, I'm going to give them DC 10 wisdom save to just be like, okay, this is like, we don't know where it is. We got to run. And every single time they just kept failing it. So there were like these 3 guards who I could not, they had +2s to wisdom. But I could not roll above a DC 10 for these guards to find it. And so for the entire fight, these 3 guards are just like milling around in that area,
Fumbling
like
around?
trying to figure out where that acid splash came from and unable to do it. I was so annoyed. At some point in the fight, I was like, I've stopped rolling for them. This is all they're going to be doing for the rest of the fight. They're just looking for this. I'm not rolling for them anymore because they are clearly too stupid to find this.
That's fantastic. I love
My I think my all-time favorite Nat 1 came from Mel, who you've met Mel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in Mel's game a while back, they were in this like underground dwarven city that had been flooded. And then Marrow had moved in. So there are these Marrow that are like swimming around in this like underwater city. And so they're taking a small boat through, like sailing on the top of the water of this like flooded city, trying to get to these stairs that lead up to this other area. And they get into this one room, and the Marrow ambush them there, and they're just like coming up out of the water, throwing harpoons at them, and then trying to pull them off of the little boat that they're on, to get them into the water. And so they're doing this. They're like successfully taken like 3 people off of the boat and are like just swarming them in the water, attacking like piranhas. And there's there's one of them that throws a harpoon at Mel's character, who is a monk. And it would have done like 3 points of damage or something like that. And Mel goes, "I'm a monk. They threw a harpoon at me. I can do a like deflect missiles thing and like roll to try and like grab that and throw it back at them." So they like she successfully like rolled enough to not take any damage from the deflect missiles, but she goes, "I'm gonna spend a key point so that I can throw this thing back at the guy to give damage to him." Rolls a nat 1, rolls to confirm it, rolls another nat 1, rolls to confirm it, rolls a 2. So she goes, what we decided was it was her and her brother's character who were standing on the boat right next to each other. And so what we decided happened was anybody who is hit by this harpoon the marrow can like try and pull into the water. So what we decided was that she like successfully deflected the missile, but like deflected it down, and it went like through her leg and into her brother's leg.
Oh God.
And so they both took like a bunch of damage from it impaling both of them, and then the marrow pulled both of them into the water.
That's damn.
And it was the funniest thing in the world of like, well, I would have taken 3 damage from that harpoon, but thank goodness my monk-like reflexes kicked in, and instead both of us took 20 and ended up in the water.
My God. That's rough.
It was
that's one of the things that's fantastic for a stream, because
Right.
that is like that's a lot of
it's one of those moments where I was like, if this had happened to almost any other group, it would be like, that's brutal. Why would you do that to us? But Mel's group is like this bumbling group of idiots. And I love them so much. And so like the moment it happened, everybody else at the table is just dying laughing, like, we're all gonna die. This is a TPK. It. This is how we go. Like, it's a fitting end to the crew of the Gorgonzola. Like it is just a wild ride here. But that was the moment that was like the most satisfying Nat 1 in the world to me. Was Mel like doing something cool, fantastic. Trying to push it to throw the thing back, and in the process undoing the cool thing that she did and making it worse. Oh man,
that's so rough. That's so rough. But that's a.
But those are the moments that you remember,
like a natural
right?
like progression at that point, though,
right?
You know what I mean? If it's like it like that confidence, it escalated, it turned into this, and you see how it backfired, and ultimately. They're gonna come back or something like that. You know what I mean? But like, it's like, no, that was really unfortunate. That's just how that happened. Yeah.
That fight very, very nearly ended in a TVK. That group, pretty much anytime they get into any sort of major combat, it will almost be a TPK. As a group of like level like 5 or 6 characters, they almost TPK'd to 3 swarms of bees because they just refused to fight them. They were just like, Druid, communicate with the bees, like tell them that we're not
do all the things.
Yeah. And here's the thing, the Druid had like speak with animals, did not cast that, was just trying to communicate with them normally and being like, I speak this language, do they speak that? I'm like, no, the bees don't speak Elven, like just cast speak with animals. Like that group is one of the most absurd group of little bumbling fools that I've ever had the pleasure of running for. It's just such a good time. Oh man, we did go over. We went over our time. Any last critical information you wanna give out?
Yeah. When you said, "Hey, do you want to do Warlocks with me?" and I was like, "Yes." That was a good one. Where I was just like, got a natural 20 on luck life right there. I was just like, I did it. Thank you. You know what I mean?
I have succeeded. I have infiltrated my way into the only TTRPG morning show.
The only one. It's exclusive as hell.
It is an exclusive club.
We're gonna, we'll every 20 we'll reevaluate. We'll do
we'll reevaluate if you still feel lucky to be here.
Yeah. But yeah, no, this is awesome. I'm glad that a lot of people things can die around 10 episodes for things, you know what I mean? So it's
we've
it
doubled
feels
that.
Good. Yes. And we have a lot of things planned that I'm excited for. And
there's some fun stuff coming.
Yeah, some fun things. And we're gonna be sprucing up some pages to like showcase that, and I'm looking forward to it. So everybody's gonna
very excited.
Have a lot of fun content and ways to interact with us and each other coming up real soon.
Junie, where can the good people at home find us coming up?
We are going to be in Seattle for National Tabletop Day on June 3rd,
June 3rd, yeah.
right? June 3rd. I believe 10 a.m. So
Yep.
still morning.
10 a.m. 10 a.m. Pacific though.
Pacific.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's right. Yeah.
So we will be in Seattle for the for National Tabletop Day, or just south of Seattle. I don't know exactly where it is, but it's still in Seattle, I believe. But we will be in there for National Tabletop Day. We'll be doing show live from the stage there. Hopefully we'll be able to figure out a way to stream it as well, but if not, we'll try and at least record it so that we can play it later.
We might not be going live Friday because we'll be traveling.
Yeah.
We might do an experimental check-in live to say what's up and see if we can get our mobile situation the kinks worked out, so people might still be able to watch our shenanigans on Friday. But we're gonna try.
I wonder if we could do the if both of us could call into the same stream.
Well, I think GetStar might still work mobile.
We'll have to see.
Actually, we know it does because Rosie's joined in to Humblewood mobile.
Has she?
Yeah.
I have no memory of this. We will be we'll be joining some of our friends out in Seattle for that, and we'll try and do Rosie says guest star works on mobile, so we'll see what we can do. We'll try and do something on that Friday of just like a check-in thing, either like at our normal time, maybe. Or we'll try and do it as a like a later thing once both of us are in Seattle, because I know our flights are at different times in there. So in addition to that, you can also catch us both Mondays and Fridays here on the Warlocks and Waffles channel for Warlocks and Waffles TTRPG morning show, 8 a.m. Eastern, Mondays and Fridays. You can also find us on the GR Crew channel, Greater Restoration. They are doing Humblewood over on their channel, and so we play in that. Go check that out as well. We are rapidly approaching the end of the story, but if you haven't listened to us yet, still come out and hang out because it's a good time, and we're playing very fun characters. So it's always a fun time there. Let's see here. Anything else before we wrap up, Junie?
I think we got everything that we have going on.
Awesome.
Do we I don't know if we have a teaser yet for Friday's episode yet. What our plans are for that one. So I think the only thing you can
the only thing that I know that we can say about Friday's episode is, guys, if today's episode is the 20th episode, then that makes the show 21 on Friday. So do the zoom in. Oh no, my zoom in's not working. Judy, do the zoom in for me.
I wait, zoom in for you.
No, oh no, it's all broken. My zoom in's broken. I don't know why my zoom in's broken. I need to fix that.
That's a shame.
Yeah. We will be we'll be back on Friday. And
our show will be old enough to drink.
Our show will be old enough to drink. So we'll see what that means. Until then,
maybe Hunter won't have a doctor's appointment.
Hey, that's fair.
Or a job.
Hopefully I still have a job on
or
Friday.
Responsibilities.
Oh man.
I have to go take care of my kid right now, so.
Yeah. It has been a pleasure. Always a fun time. We will be back on Friday. Until then, have a great rest of your week, everybody. Remember, wear party hats in ways that they were never designed to be worn.
I broke 3 today.
Wear more party hats than you should wear. oh no, what's the third one? Comedy comes in threes. So if you're gonna do a bit where you're wearing a hat that's too large for you, take it off and reveal that it's a smaller hat, and then do another one where you reveal it's an even smaller hat later. Do the funny bits and full send them. Commit to all your bits is my third call to action. Have a great rest of your week, everybody. And we look forward to seeing you on Friday. Later.
Hi, everybody.